In today's news, 2 a.m. curfew continues in the territory. Another police officer implicated in a recent major drug bust, and Premier Foy refutes the governor's allegations.
HM prison inmates judge prison officers in annual poetry battle, and USVI reports 50 new COVID cases in just 2 days. All this and more when 284 News returns.
Can you hear the Christmas bells ringing? Are you listening? Right Way Food Markets is giving back up to $10,000 to you, and yes, you. Spend $50 or more in any one of our locations for a chance to win one of two $500 store vouchers each week. And there's more. On the day before Christmas, 2 lucky persons will win $1,000. Just scan the QR code to upload your receipt or simply drop it into the entry box to win. This promotion ends on December 24th. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! I am a poor boy too.
Welcome everybody. It's Friday, December 4th, 2020. Another fantastic Friday out of Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant.
And I am Kyla Kinesha Forbes. We're definitely happy to be here with you, of course, to bring you your local, regional, and international content. Now let's just jump right into our news summary. Of course, the 2 a.m. curfew continues right here in the British Virgin Islands, as well as allegations reported by the governor are reckless and damaging, said Premier Foy. Also, another policeman charged in largest drug bust, and the governor pushing for legislation to investigate persons with unexplained wealth.
Of course, continuing, more officers are needed to keep the joint task force going, and nearly 200 visitors in just 2 days, and yet no positive cases so far. Now, the airport taxis are said to be equipped with a lodging system for contact tracing, and a new members elected for the top positions in the Athletics Association. They are Ralston Henry, Chantal Scatliff, and Nelda Huggins. They were all victorious after competing for top executive positions on Wednesday night's BVI Athletics Association general elections. We congratulate them.
Most definitely. Now, Ron, so much to get into, so viewers, we will jump right into it. Now, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has charged another police officer in connection with the recent drug seizure of 2,353 kilos of cocaine. Emil Jimenez, 32, is being charged with the following charges: 1 count of being concerned in the supply of a controlled drug to another, 3 counts of unlawful possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply, 1 count of keeping a firearm without a license, and 1 count of unlawful possession of a prohibited weapon. Now, Jimenez is the 3rd person to be implicated in this case. 2 brothers, Liston Davis, which is 40 years old, and Darren Davis, 41, were also arrested and charged in connection with this drug seizure. Now, Mr. Darren Davis and Mr. Emil Jimenez were both serving police officers of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force prior to their arrest. Now, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force confirmed that inquiries are continuing in this matter. Now, viewers, if you remember, here are the details of this specific drug seizure. Now, on Friday, the 6th of November, 2020, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force conducted a covert operation due to a search warrant. The operation was carried out at a residence in the Balsam Gut area. After searching the premises, a large quantity of illegal drugs and 2 illegal firearms were discovered. What was reported as the largest drug seizure in BVI history, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force discovered 2,353 kilos of cocaine. The drugs found has a street value of $250 million. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, another a daunting case, and we see where the officials are now seemingly have to crack down on their very own, but we applaud them in their efforts, and we continue to wish the members of the Rural Virgin Islands Police Force the very best. Continuing on the local scene, prison inmates, they judged a prison competition, annual poetry competition, a battle that has been taking place now for a number of years. Now, in the past, inmates competed against each other by writing original poems and then being judged by the prison inmates. This time around, prison officers presented their original poems and were then judged by prison inmates. Kyla, this was quite an exceptional event, one that we continue to support. It's an annual event, and we see where it really brings some camaraderie and really showcases the talent of the HM prison inmates, and in this case, the prison officers. Take a look.
I am Chinedu Chetoya from down West Africa. And I have, thank you, sir, that I made it here today. All right, I have this one to give you called Mama Africa. Clap for Jesus. Africa is a continent so blessed with abundant mineral resources. We get them plenty. Boku boku. Gold in Ghana and in South Africa. Petroleum in Nigeria. Cotton in Congo. Congo DR. We have two Congos in Africa. Congo DR.
Gentlemen, of course, you know, I've been out of my country for a while. And during the course of my absence, I traditionally write a note or two for my wife. And it's important because when you're in one country and your second half is in another country, you have to work a little harder to keep that relationship together. So I wrote her this piece, and again, I want to dedicate it to her tonight. And it's called Luciana, My Love is True. Luciana, my love is true. You saw my innocence in the mix. Love, no tricks. Hurt, conflict, craze, a hard mix. The sixth sense, in hindsight, was it sick, although the first was quenched? Adulterate, acculturate, penetrate, reiterate, consummate. Is it sincere? Can you rate? You are, we are, I am, damn. Am I your woman? Are you my man? A quick fix, voice the love I have and yours for true. Luciana, it's real. I do love you.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, my poem is entitled Time. They say time is important. It waits on no man. Yet we are afraid of saying, I love you when we still can. Today we are here, today we are gone. Does it really worth the wait? While we sit around thinking, we should leave it up to fate. We fight to play a part that society says is right. While we battle with our feelings, heart and mind begins to fight. Please forgive me if I'm different and no longer wish to be a part of a society that tells you it's wrong to follow your own heart. So boldly I say I love you. The truth, it must be told. I will express my feelings, for I am growing old. I love you just because you are always you. I love you because you make me smile even when I'm feeling blue. I love you because you make me feel I can do impossible things. I love you because your presence make me feel like I grew wings. If ever I feel lonely, all I do is close my eyes. I feel you right beside me. Oh, how I'm filled with fireflies. Your eyes, they hypnotize me. I feel fragile like a rose. All the walls I built around me, you caused them to erode. We do not have to share these feelings. No worries, I'll be fine. Life is all about loving. a feeling that is so divine. Do not be afraid to feel it with nothing in return. Appreciate the moment. That is all you need to earn. So never lose a moment. Think of the one you love today. Will you live regretting because the words I love you didn't say? So forget about color, class, creed, or race. Forget about your neighbor while trying to save face. Forget about fear and rejection. Now is the time. What is your plan? I just want to remind you, time waits on no man. Thank you.
Viewers, that was members of Her Majesty's Royal Prison, HM Prison, and the prison officers really exhibiting an array of talent. Of course, one of the most memorable was Superintendent Vern Gard, who exquisitely wrote about his lovely wife. So we continue to wish them the best on this beautiful, very beautiful and fun initiative. It was really good to sit back and watch the inmates interact and have a good time, as well as the prison officers.
Awesome.
Continuing on, still ahead, USVI reports 50 new COVID cases in just 2 days. All this and more when 284 News returns.
The win! Oh!
What the hell
I'm freaking out!
Is time.
284 News.
Coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the Lakers!
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News, and I must thank you for sticking with us. Now, in this next story, the Premier of the Virgin Islands, Honorable Andrew A. Foy, replies to the governors, His Excellency Augustus J.U. Jasper's, his comments during a live press conference which was held yesterday. Now, Honorable Andrew Foy called the allegations broad, vague, and sweeping. Premier Foy issued a statement via a government-issued press release. He said in that statement, and I quote, "These statements by the governor warrant a comprehensive response from your government, as it has implications on the local, regional, and international reputation of the British Virgin Islands and how all Virgin Islanders are viewed by persons looking on. It is unfortunate that Governor Jasper has chosen to make these damning and reckless statements when, by his own admission, the veracity of these allegations has not been established by himself or any investigative body." Premier Foy went on to say, "I am very concerned that the manner in which the governor has chosen to make his ambiguous pronouncements, which with broad statements and withholding even the most basic of details, assaults not just the integrity of the members of your elected government, but that of our honest, hard-working public officers who operate the machinery of our public service, and in particular, those public officers whose role include accounting and finance. It is sad that this is the goodbye gift that Governor Jasper chose to leave the people of the BVI with after they have shown him BVI love for the last 4 years." Premier Foy went on to say, "The governor's deliberate withholding of the details of his allegations, even the most basic of details, makes it impossible for any of the persons he has tainted to defend themselves and their reputations in the public domain. Without knowing that the allegations are, no one can provide a detailed response to wipe the mud that has been thrown on them. In the least, this kind of conduct is contrary to natural justice." Premier Foy went on to say, "Governor Jasper has made reference to the recent economic stimulus which your government was able to devise through collaboration across all the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies across the breadth of the public service, as well as with ideas received from private citizens through consultation to help our Virgin Islands people to cope with the economic impacts of COVID-19, the global pandemic. As members of the public, you would recall that the funds from the economic stimulus program were granted to the people of the Virgin Islands by the BVI Social Security Board when the UK government refused to provide COVID-19 grants for social support to Virgin Islanders. These funds were provided by the SSB based on a signed agreement that mandates how the money can and cannot be spent, and checks and balances that were approved by the directors of SSB to ensure that there is accountability for these funds. He went on to say, with respect to funds from the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB that is, which is being applied to construction projects in order to secure the release of funds, the CDB had to give approval to our procurement methodologies and processes. We remain accountable to the CDB as we are to the House of Assembly for how these funds are spent and how value for money is achieved. This is the level of accountability that your government has been operating in the last 22 months. With respect to legislation for accountability and good governance, your government has expressed our commitment to strengthening these laws in the speech from the throne, which was delivered by none other than Governor Jaspert on the 5th of November 2020. Although the speech from the throne is read by the governor, it is written by the BVI government and states the legislative agenda of the BVI government. Your government's legislative agenda for the upcoming year includes bringing forth the Integrity in Public Life Bill, witness anonymity legislation, the amendment of the Criminal Conduct Act to making provisions for unexplained wealth which derives from corruption and criminal activity, and several pieces of legislation to strengthen our justice system. Therefore, to cast aspirations on your government's commitment to accountability and transparency in public affairs is unfounded. To accuse your government and or public officers of operating in any dishonest way with the handling of public contracts or the COVID-19 economic stimulus program is without merit. Now, Premier Foy went on to say, as I have indicated, the governor's allegations were broad, vague, ambiguous, and without even the most basic of details. Governor Jaspert has admitted that the truthfulness of or the substance of these allegations has not been established by himself or any investigative body. Until he provides details of his allegations, it is impossible for anyone to know what he is accusing them of and how they can repair their reputation. Now, Ron, this is a statement by our Premier Honorable Andrew Foy. He found it necessary to speak to the allegations that were cast upon the government and, as he said, the entire Virgin Islands as a whole, as it pertains to accountability here in the British Virgin Islands.
Well, Kyla, this is quite an interesting response, and I'll say this and unequivocally, I think the Honorable Premier and Leader of Government Business is getting a taste of his own medicine. And by that, I simply mean for years gone by, elected officials have gone back and forth accusing each other of a lack of accountability. They've called for audits. They've said that projects are this and projects are that. And here you see, while it might be different for a governor to speak on such matters, he is essentially accusing the Premier of what the Premier himself, whether as Premier or Leader of the Opposition, has done for a very long time. What I find it very interesting is, however, it's different for the governor to speak on these sort of allegations that have not been proven. One of the things that I really find interesting, though, however, and I think as a territory, we need to unequivocally understand that when such allegations come forth, whether it's by the governor, whether it's by the Premier or another elected member, at the end of the day, which is what we've been hearing for a very long time, behind the scenes are civil servants who continuously take the blunt and take embarrassment and continue to be accused of not carrying out their duties to the best of their ability.
Right.
And I think that is the sad part here in the story. We don't understand how not only defaming of character is it for a territory in a country, but these are civil servants who are essentially doing their job. So not only are you accusing the government of lack of accountability or victimization, but you're also essentially passing that on to civil servants who essentially sometimes are just doing their job. So I think both parties here need to regroup and really consider the ramifications of their actions, not only as it speaks to a territory in this very pivotal point, but we have to understand that these allegations, and when you bring such matters to the forefront, it is very, very daunting to very persons who work day to day, garnering their years of civil service,
Agreed.
and then you just take on and go about your merry way. Now, it's also very immature of the governor for using this example as he is on his exit
Right.
to bring these matters. If in fact that these were some serious matters that he thought needed to be brought, it's a little bit too late for that, and that's just my humble point of view on this matter.
As you said, Ron, I think really in what hangs in the balance is the reputation
Absolutely.
of the BVI, and at such a pivotal point, it's really daunting to see the premier and our governor go back and forth.
And it's not the first time.
And at the end of the day, not saying that there will not be disagreements,
Correct.
but to have it via press conferences and press release is very, very, very daunting. And as you said, it's not been the first time.
Absolutely.
Most
Continuing on, looking over in the region, the VI Consortium has reported that COVID-19 cases are trending higher this week, according to data put out by the VI Department of Health, revealing that a total of 50 confirmed cases between Wednesday and Thursday. The Department of Health reported 26 new cases Wednesday and 24 on Thursday. Now, this increase in cases in the territory of the USVI was expected as confirmed cases on the U.S. mainland remain historically high, and deaths continue to increase as well. Now, according to the Johns Hopkins University, U.S. recorded 2,804 deaths on Wednesday. The university also revealed that newly reported infections surged past 200,000 for the second time in the last week. Now, additionally, more than 100,000 persons in the U.S. were hospitalized as of Wednesday, according to the COVID Tracking Project. Now, this includes a record of number of people in intensive care and near record number of patients on ventilators. Now, the Tracking Project, made known, of course, has been essentially tracking the virus as it pertains to the U.S. mainland. Now, the USVI has seen 23 COVID-19 related deaths to date, 15 on St. Thomas, 7 on St. Croix, and 1 on St. John, according to the Department of Health. Now, as of Monday, 1 COVID-19 patient was hospitalized and on a ventilator at the Juan F. Louis Hospital, and 1 patient was hospitalized at the Schneider Regional Medical Center. Relative to the active cases on St. Thomas, had 40 as of Thursday, followed by St. Croix with 24 and another 24 over on St. John, bringing that total of active cases in the USVI presently as of Thursday to 88. Now, Governor Albert Bryan, in a proactive attempt to diminish the potential for yet another surge, which we are seeing as we speak, cases in the USVI, implemented a soft shutdown of government operations. He said, and I quote, "We had to keep our guard up to avoid a lockdown," said Mr. Bryan during a COVID-19 press release. Now, as part of the effort, the governor directed all agency heads within the executive branch to reduce in-person work as much as possible for 2 weeks. The governor also recommended employees be given time off or work on staggered schedules, and he urged all private employers to do the very same. The governor issued a moratorium on all permits given for large events, and he said we have to control the virus as much as possible. Now, Governor Bryan stated that there were some exceptions made for some sporting events such as flag football. However, from November 24th and forward, there will be no special arrangements made for anyone throughout the holiday season. Now, anything that attracts a large group of people in a public space, including sports, tournaments, and food sales, are all discontinued until further notice. The governor continued by saying, essentially, there will be no exceptions to this because there is no time to be out. Kyla, again, this is something that we expected, and unfortunately, we are seeing a surge all over the region and over in the USVI. We continue to wish our brothers and sisters the safest.
Now, Ron, this upcoming story after the break really speaks to this.
Yes.
As we see where data shows that Americans could not resist Thanksgiving travel.
Yes.
So viewers, you don't want to miss this. This is 284 News and we'll be right back.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Viewers, welcome back. Continuing on now on the international scene, coming out of the story over in the U.S. Virgin Islands, it seems as though Americans could not resist the urge to gather for Thanksgiving dinner, driving only slightly less than a year ago and largely ignoring the pleas of public health experts who begged them to forego holiday travel to help contain the coronavirus pandemic. Now, data from the roadways and airports shows now the nation's unwillingness to tamp down on travel offered a warning in advance of Christmas and New Year's Eve as virus deaths and hospitalizations hit new heights after a week of Thanksgiving. U.S. deaths from the outbreak eclipsed to 3,100 on Thursday, obliterating the single-day record set last spring. Now, vehicle travel in early November was as much as 20% lower than a year earlier, but it surged around the holiday and peaked on Thanksgiving Day at only about 5% less than the pandemic-free period in 2019, according to Streetlight data, which provided an analysis to the Associated Press. Now, in an official quote, they said people were less willing to change their behavior than any other day during this pandemic, said Laura Schul, founder of Streetlight Data. Airports also saw some of the busiest days, believe it or not, on the pandemic on Thanksgiving Day around that time. And though air travel was much lower than last year, the Transportation Security Administration screened more than 1 million passengers on 4 separate days during the Thanksgiving travel period. Now, since the pandemic, the travel in March, there has been only one other day when the number of travelers topped 1 million. That was October 18. Now, in an official quote again, if only a small percentage of those travelers were asymptomatic infected, this can translate into hundreds of thousands of additional infections moving from one community to another. Again, I'm going to repeat that because this is very important for persons to understand. If only a small percentage of those travelers were asymptomatic infected, this can translate into hundreds of thousands of additional infections moving from community to another. Kyla, I think as we progress and as the borders reopen and as persons are very eager, as well, not only in the USA, but here in the BVI, they're eager to travel. This quote really solidifies the fact that we have
really
to be
shows you the reality
show
of the
concern.
matter.
If persons, or just a few of us, are asymptomatic and we continue to travel and interact with persons, this then broadens the gap and the threat of the coronavirus spreading.
Ron, what would we say would really, why? I don't really understand the why.
Tradition, way of life, stubbornness. Persons are sick and tired of being in a house. They're sick and tired of lockdown. They want to spend the holidays with their family. They want to interact, and it seems although that they're willing to do that at the risk of being infected, and that's the daunting part.
I think that's what it is. I think the fact that we've been going through this pandemic for an entire year now, persons were really wishing that coming down to this holiday season that they would not have to give up on that tradition. And I think people are quite fed up with it, but I don't think that's any excuse as to why you're not just putting yourself at danger and just putting yourself at risk, but so many other persons, the persons who are also traveling, the persons in the next city that you're traveling to. And I think that's just what surrounds the whole pandemic and the spread of the coronavirus.
Absolutely, I could not agree more. But essentially, we want to encourage our residents here in the Virgin Islands to, while persons might be getting wary of the virus, to simply continue to wear your mask and to follow all health and safety protocols that could essentially save your life, the life of a family member or friend.
I do agree. Now, Ron, we are running out of time with that great advice that you just gave our viewers. We also want to advise you and just wish you a happy weekend.
Indeed.
Do enjoy it. Of course, wear your mask and sanitize while doing so. But it is Friday, so we do want to sign out for this week. Of course, I am Kyla Kinisha Forbes.
And I'm Ron Grant. Do have an enjoyable weekend and a happy Friday. Bye-bye.